Well, man, this is gun time. They watch it, boys, and it's man, it's just like, man, we're here, man. And of course, if you watch that other type channel of mine, man, you saw a lot of them there zebra pots. Them there Americaners, the Americans, call them zebra pots. Of course, you're going to have to deal with me saying zebra pot because everyone I know and everyone I've been around, calls them zebra pots, so it just kind of stuck. But they're very good pots. They're made in Thailand. They're made in a country, in an area, for people and by people that have to have the very best at any given tool. They're made in a bunch of different sizes and a bunch of different designs. I have another zebra pot that's on order. That's the lunchbox, and I guess it would be more of the lunchbox in. It's a very small lunchbox because typically this is actually a lunchbox from Thailand, where you have the ability to basically have 3 different containers with food in them. And then, of course, the stainless steel keeps it nice and, protected while it's zipping around town on a moped, what you would consider a moped, and or motorcycle or whatever the hell you want to call it. But this is the real one. They've got one they're selling, of course, in America and I guess other places that is just a single pot with container and then But we've got that on order and it will be here. And these are the 3 main culprits. This, of course, is the 12 centimeter, the 14 and 16 centimeter. How you actually judge that, and I'm going to do it without flipping it over, is you basically just measure the inside circumference, and that's basically 12 centimeters. It's also going to measure roughly 12 centimeters in height. So it's your width and your height. Now, of course, it comes with a lid, typical of all pots, and then it comes with a secondary pan. Now, that pan typically is used for eating or used for serving or a secondary thing or cooking a secondary thing. You can cook a small stew or something in there, boil water, whatever, and then also basically steam something in the top one. Now, anything you're going to cook in the top one is going to cook at 212 degrees, okay? Because steam at sea level is 212. Of course, on top of Mount Everest, it's much different, but, or at 6,000 feet, you get the drift. Now, the 12 centimeter one is great for individual bushcrafting or cooking. It's, it works. And it's a very popular size. Now, the 14 centimeter is more for a couple people, and then also people are starting to use the 14 and 16 for doing what they call horizontal baking, which is basically, and I'll show you it real quick, and this is not the proper setup, but you're basically baking over a wood stove like this one in this configuration. Now, you're seeing that the lid does not want to stay on. I'm going to resolve that in a few days, and I bought some clips from some probably Mormons out in Utah, and they're going to ship them to me, that use these quite a bit for baking. And they have come up with some stainless steel clips that clip on here that with the 14 and 16 centimeter they operate a certain way, but in the smaller version, the 10, which is too small for doing horizontal stuff anyway. It actually works as a handle lock instead of working as a handle lock and also locking the lid on. But we'll address that down the road. What I want you to understand is these are the Cadillacs of the bushcrafting world, and or basically the Rolls-Royce. Let's say it that way. It's more the Rolls-Royce because, you know, we're talking about that they're England, man, that they're the British type Isles, man. And in all of these, as I said, it comes with that pot, the lid, everything else. Ray Mears, a lot of people use these things, and they are used by quite a few people. What I want you to understand is the weight of these things. That's why I compared them to Rolls-Royce. Rolls-Royce, of course, used to be the epitome of the automobile. Of course, they have since been bought by BMW and have done some really weird things with design, but let's stay out of that. A friend of mine, Knowles, we used to roll in a Rolls all the time because his parents, man. But, you know, that's just the way it worked. So I have an understanding of their weight to power ratio. These things are tremendously efficient. Because of the thickness of the 1810 stainless steel, they cook very well. They are almost thicker than most people's normal cookware that they would have in their kitchen. The handle is bomb-proof. It, of course, comes with plastic clips that go into those small holes there, for which I have taken off because these are for use in a fire. I have 5 sets of those clips coming for testing in stainless steel to do some horizontal baking in these larger pots. But as I said, this is the Rolls-Royce. I mean, this is, you pass it down to your kids pass it down to their kids, this, that, or the other, and this is the very best. For doing a lot of basically gourmet shit out in the wilderness, this is what people like to have. And it's basically going to come in at about 1.2 pounds for the that they're 12 centimeter. The 10 centimeter I wouldn't even waste my time with it. But the 12 is an ideal individual kit. I mean, it even has a place for hanging over a fire, and it wouldn't surprise me if Queen Elizabeth when she was out, didn't have her trusty manservant boil water with them to make her tea. But there's a story where he wasn't able to get the fire going one time, and then they did not have tea that day. 1.6 pounds for the 14, and to give you an understanding in ounces, that's 25.75 ounces. For the 16, which is basically for taking out with a group of people, you're talking about 32.75 ounces or 2 pounds. Okay? I'll go back and measure this one for ounces just for kicks. 19 ounces, okay? And as I said, these are the Cadillacs. These are the best. Ray Mears uses them. A tremendous amount of bushcrafters use them. And they take them all over the world, and they can, as you can see, you know, beat the hell out of them. And I've got a dent in mine, and not really even care, because it's the best. Now, when you're putting together a survival kit, because these are the best at cooking, weight becomes an issue. These, of course, are very affordable, at under, you know, around, you know, $20 to $30 to $35. Hell, I don't even know what they cost anymore. They have sales a lot. Grand Trunk used to sell these things. Now a tremendous number of people sell them. And as I said, you can probably buy them from some Mormons out in Utah who are making those clips, and I'll make another video on that. And I'm not calling them a Mormon because they live in Utah. I'm calling them a Mormon because they're talking about Mormon cappuccino. What a Mormon mocha, or whatever the hell that is. Who the hell gives a shit? You know, I know what a mocha is, but I don't care what a Mormon mocha is. Just like I don't care what Mormon alcohol is. Their level of getting fucked up is not exactly my level of getting fucked up. So it's like, don't ever put a Mormon in a really extreme situation and they'll freak the fuck out. Very self-disciplined people, but they just, in the end of the day, it just doesn't work out. We've got 11 ounces for, this is of course, the Moore's pot. Not Moore's for Mormon, Moore's for Moore's Kohansky. And him and Four Dog Stoves basically put this thing together, and you can buy it from different vendors. And this will put 7 cups of water, 1.8 ounces of water. 1.8 ounces. He knows 1.8 ounces, boy. 1.8 liters of water. And it's a really good kit. It's a really good piece of kit. Like all of these are the epitome of what it is to be the best. At 11 ounces, this is the very best pot you can get. It has butterfly handles. It's anodized aluminum. It has a bale handle that clicks. The top fits on it very tight. And you can basically, because that aluminum lid there, you can make it as tight as you want. Why do you want it that way? Of course, I go over this all the time. It's because if it falls over, you don't want to lose everything. Now, you're going to lose a certain percentage just based on the fact that it has a pour spout for you to pour. But, you know, this is you know, something you will pass down to your children. Your children will probably pass it down to their children. You're not cooking in it all the time. So people worry about Alzheimer's and all that other crap, and with biochemistry going the way that it's going to wind up and go, a lot of that's going to be basically put down, at least for the people that are able to pay for the treatment down the road. Plus, this is hard anodized, which the hard anodizing makes it, of course, harder. It's not just a coating that to protect it. It actually forcibly, because it's the way it's applied, it actually makes the aluminum harder. It's not just not a sales bullshit, this, there, or the other. Of course, you can see I've used this quite a bit around acidic situations, which is why that aluminum is so discolored or oxidized, which also makes it harder, which basically is what a hard anodized coating is the oxidation of the aluminum. So I just wanted to basically expose you to 4 different pots. Now, this Moore's pot is just a slight bit smaller than this Zebra pot at 25 ounces. And I'm not saying this isn't, man, this is the shit. But at 10 point, at around 11, what the hell's going on here? Oh, it was sitting on that. It was resting on that other one. I thought my load cell was giving its ghost. Anyway, 11.5 ounces. You know, this is also state of the art, and they're around $30 or something like that. And you can get that from Four Dog Stoves. Of course, you can go to titanium setups, like I use the titanium. Evernew or whatever the fuck, Snow Peak, who gives a shit? Go to Four Dog Stoves, they'll have them, and they've got those titanium 1400, whatever the hell they are, and they've got an option where you can have a bale handle attached to it that's a titanium loop of wire with welded on little deals so that you can hang it over a fire, man. And of course, it'll come with an auxiliary lid, because the lid, unfortunately, on that fucking pot, because of the heaviness of the handle, gets kind of wiggy some every now and then, and it's just easy to knock off. So I prefer the other lid also. And then using the the lid that comes with it, or the factory lid, as basically something to eat out of, or to do some small something. Anyway, this is just kind of man, one of them there like videos, man, kind of showing some shit. And this is and I haven't talked about this on this channel because this channel is basically just to fuck with people. But, you know, you have to take the time to fuck with people every now and then, because they get too comfortable in their like positions and get too comfortable in this, there, or the other, and they don't understand that the world has infinite possibilities and infinite this, there, or the other. And there are people out there that are trained to do what we do. Have a good one.